I haven't seen this, so bear with us just 1 second. You gotta have a show before the show because everything's got
pre-show, show.
Absolutely. Technology is great. There it is. There it is. Everything
behind.
Now it's time to start the show.
Behind the scenes at Sports Crown Video.
Welcome everybody to SMA Live show number 18. My partner always is the amazing Jamie Cravens. I'm Mallory Woods. Welcome to the show.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Jamie, another heart attack Sunday with your Seattle Seahawks as well as Washington Redskins.
A win is a win, and that's all that matters.
Absolute well said. My boys got it done today. Sorry to the Eagles fans out there. I'm excited. We got a good show today. We have scheduled. We have Johnny Tention, and hopefully we should be able to work things out and have Stephen Wonderboy Thompson on the show. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into things and see if we can get our first guest on the line. But Jamie, give us a quick, tiny recap of Diamond Nationals just happened.
Well, we're one week removed from the Diamond Nationals, and for me, it's one of my favorite events because it's local. It's our hometown event, and we get a lot of fighters out here. The nighttime show, fighting-wise, we just talked to Ross Levine 2 weeks ago, right before the Diamonds, and he said he was coming out for team fighting. That's exactly what he did. His team was down. They needed him to come through, and he came through at the end to give his team the team fighting victory for the $5,000 for team fighting, which was fantastic. Over the JPM squad. And then, the individual, diamond ring fights were dominating performances by Kevin Walker and Zolt. They were just on their game, and when somebody can't do nothing against you, it's got to be frustrating. But God, it's got to be fun for those guys to win.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just it's a prestigious tournament. Ross said he was going to come in there and do team fights. He did that. I saw that, like you said, you saw Kevin Walker got his first ring. There's some, if you follow Kevin on Facebook, he's got an awesome picture with him and Tony Young. Tony Young being still the only super lightweight, the true super lightweight to win a diamond ring. And Tony had to do it the hard way. I'm not saying it was easier, but we now have lightweight and heavyweight diamond ring winners, which I think is kind of fair. Other people have, some discrepancy about that. We were talking to Ross about it. I've seen Alex have a post about it, but Tony Young did it where he had to go through the big guys. If I remember right, he had to fight AP, and he won his ring. Still an incredible accomplishment for a guy that's tiny and going up against facing giants. So
you gotta love the small guys that do it. Kind of reminds me of maybe like Hamid Farouzi or those kind of fighters, or just quick, or Justin Ortiz even from JPM.
Absolutely,
it's so fun to watch those guys. And I got to give a shout out to our Jason Borelli. He got the 30+ diamond ring for fighting. So good for him, man.
Absolutely, Jason's got a pocket full of rings, man. And you know what? He's been looking really good coming back. It looks like he's been doing a lot of training and. Watch out 30 and plus division. The guy's ready. So let me go.
He looked good. His legs were flying as usual.
Oh, absolutely. Oops, let me go ahead and put this on real quick while we try to get our first guest on. We're going to just display our upcoming SMA events. We will cover those later, but we're going to call for our first guest. You guys, doesn't really need any introduction at all, but we'll give him a good one.
Hello.
I would like to introduce the world famous Johnny Tention. Mr. Tention, welcome to SMA Live. How are you tonight, sir?
What's going on, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Say it again?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me? Let me make sure my audio levels are good. Can you hear me, Johnny?
Yeah, I got a little echo, but I can hear you.
Okay. All right, no problem. I'm going to move a little bit closer to the microphone. While I actually have you on the line, I'm going to remind you, let me take you.
Are we live?
Oh, we are live. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. We got some classic Johnny Tention fighting going on right now. I think you're fighting in the video we have going up while we're talking. We've got you battling Justin Ortiz. I think this was at the Capitol Classics a couple years ago.
Okay.
Jody, do you remember 20 years ago? Let me take you back. 1996. Do you remember traveling to Minneapolis, St. Paul, the St. Paul area, and wearing some red and white uniforms and coming out as a brand new team?
Absolutely. That was the beginning, man. That was it right there.
For interview, I'll have a picture up later, and it's going to show you just absolute greatness in that picture. Jody and I are former teammates, and that is the signal, as usual, for Nick to drink. Anytime I mention a former teammate, he's got to drink. But 1996, we came out. If I could set the scene, the Metro All Stars had their last tournament, which was at the Bluegrass Nationals. The team had ended, and we managed to put together a team of individuals just going down the line. And I hope I don't miss anybody, just naming names. We had Hector Santiago, Jennifer Santiago, Jesse Ray, Jody Tention, Frank Jones, Joseph Alexander, Doug Bertrand, AP. We had Nene Price. We had Nancy Price, myself, Gerald Dawson, Jeff Tufts, a young Jeff Doss. And Krista Shear. Let me not forget Krista Shear as well.
Richard Plowden.
Richard Plowden, that's right. Richard Plowden as the coach of that team, definitely to be noted.
Yeah.
And many more. It was the beginning of a great thing.
Peter Allende.
I'm sorry, say again?
I said Peter Allende.
That's right, a young Peter Allende. Can you believe?
Yep, Nancy Price. Yep.
The talent that we had on that team. We also expanded to have Tony Young, Ibi Abdallah. I mean, just think about the amount of talent that we had on that team, and can you believe where that was? First, can you believe that was 20 years ago?
Yeah. Yes, it was.
It's
a long time ago, Mallory. Man, I was Spencer was a guy that really gave me my first opportunity, and what made it special for me was that I wasn't even winning. I was just a guy that, was taking, I wasn't even coming in top 3 or 4 at the time when he picked me up. And the other crazy part of it is I remember the first team fight we had, and I remember Richard Plowden and Anthony Price pulled me to the corner. This is when I first met them. I really spoke to them ever, and they pulled me to the corner and was like, yo, you the next one. You're the next guy, man. And I never forgot that. And the thing, again, to me that made it such a big deal was that I wasn't winning. Mm-hmm. It's easy to tell a guy, you the next one. You the guy up next when you win it. But I wasn't winning. They just saw it in me. And that was special.
Hey, Johnny, this is Jamie Cravens here. So a lot of people call you – how you doing? A lot of people call you, the Professor Johnny Tention, the master of breaking down video back in the day especially. Now, just out of curiosity, nowadays, YouTube is everywhere. Kids probably don't understand that you just couldn't get video of fighters whenever you wanted. So back in the day, how were you getting your video, and how were you breaking down tape back then?
Well, the thing with me is that the first person that gave me a collection of videos was Anthony Price. When I went to when I got on Elite, like I said, in my first time in Minnesota, which is 1996 in Diamond National, Minnesota, I asked him. I said, "Listen, sir, would it be okay if I came to train with you?" And he told me, "Yeah, come down to my school." So I didn't even know him. So I said, "Well, the whole thing is I know he's staying in my house." So when I got to his house, I won't forget this. The first night, this guy had a serious collection of videotapes. He can tell you this. It might have been like 9 o'clock. When he walked in, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. I was just studying the tapes. And I'm the kind of guy, just out of my personality, like if me and you were sitting in the room, Jamie, I'm going to count the chairs when we're talking. I'm going to count how many chandeliers. That's just I just can't help it. Like I'm going to count stuff, keep most of the details. So that's just a part of my personality with details. So, but I was the kind of guy, I had the videos of all the older guys, not the newer guys. But I could just watch you, man, and I would just pick up certain habits because I always look for talent. I would just watch if you was a righty. Did you bounce 3 times before you punch? Did you always fake? Did you throw a back punch first instead of a reverse punch? Did you favor moving to your mouth, your right? And I would remember these things. And I would just not only remember for me, I remember for all the guys that was in my camp. Whoever they fought, I was like, listen, this guy's going to do this. And they could tell you, I could tell you about any fighter that was a threat in any division. I could tell you all of his habits if you just named them, just right there on the spot. And I was just, I think that was just a thing that I just had going for me.
I hear you there, and I remember my first, big karate tournament, Battle of Atlanta. I was a new up-and-comer, and it's my first tournament, and I had seen a ton of your fights on video, and I'm like, all right, I kind of know what Johnny's going to do, and I think I proceeded to lose about 7-1. So at least I got maybe 1 point, so that was fantastic for me. But that being said, I got to say, one of my favorite videos you got out there is, the progression versus traditional karate. The old school guys. What was the inspiration for that? I thought it was hilarious and perfect. Where did you get the idea for that?
Are you talking about the state of karate?
I believe so. It's the one you're talking about, the old school guys who don't want to change anything. And
I got a lot of phone calls to my school from guys I never even heard of before, just calling me about that. But this is honestly what happened. For me, the martial arts is an education, right? And it's a constant education. And I think that what the problem is that you have these guys who, if it's an education, karate is the only education where a guy can learn something 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and still tell you, I don't have to improve it. I don't have to, nothing has changed about it. It can stay the same, exactly how it is, and it's relevant, and that's it. And we're going to call it tradition, and that's what we're going to call it. But in education, there is no form or nobody does that. Like music changes. If you watch a doctor, they go back for a recertification year after year. A dentist, recertification. You can't stay in business when you're dealing with that kind of education. But karate people, for some reason, they're the only people who don't need to recertify, re-educate, and they can show you whatever they learned from 40 years ago, and that's it. That is the end-all, be-all. Nothing evolved. And my thing with those guys are, it's funny, when those techniques came out, there was horses and carriages. You live a modern day life. Nobody's on a horse and a carriage. You get on Facebook, you use your iPhone, but your training is old school. I don't understand. Like the way we move with everything else, I don't understand what the problem is. What the real problem is that they refuse to be a student. How many of these guys have taken somebody else's class in the last 10 years? Were they just a guy who's not the best one in the room, and they say, I'm going to learn, and I'm going to reinvent. They don't do that. And they don't have to, because the word that they use is, I'm a traditionalist. And my mother always told me, anything that doesn't grow or change is considered dead. So that's what that came from, and just reading a story on, actually, this is really, to be quick about it, was one night, I think that guy woke me up one night, man. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. I put the TV on. I just got up, put the TV on. There was a story about Bobby Fischer. And what happened with Bobby Fischer, he was supposed to challenge the Russian guy. That was put off for many years. Finally, they got to challenge each other. And the commentator said that the people were disappointed because they was playing 20-year-old chess. Now, so basically, if you think about chess, the pieces never change. So how could it be 20 years old? Because the setup, the way you use the pieces change, the way you set them up, those are the things that constantly evolve, the different openings and closings. And I said, that's exactly what karate guys do. We got the same moves, but you got the same old mind as far as your approach. You don't want to change. So you're watching 50-year-old karate instead of anything being updated and using different kind of setups and ways to get in and get out. So that inspired me, and I directly related that to my karate experience.
That is, I don't think you could have said it better than that. And when you break it down into modern terms, Jody, especially, think of what we've evolved into in just terms of technology. We're speaking over the internet right now. You have a more powerful computer in your pocket than we got to the moon with. All this other stuff, and it makes complete sense. I'm going to definitely I can't forget to mention here that you will be teaching a seminar for the WKC coming up on Halloween night in Dublin, Ireland. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I have the opportunity to do that. I'm It's always a pleasure to be there with my guys, man, for the WKC. And I'm absolutely going to be doing a seminar on that Halloween day. I believe it's 6 p.m., 5 or 6 p.m., but I believe it's 6.
It's
but be there on 5, just in case I'm wrong.
Absolutely, and the WKC is going to be a fully covered event by SMA. You've actually become kind of an unofficial ambassador for the WKC. Last year when it was in Orlando, I think you were. I really give you the credit for bringing a lot of South American support to the WKC, and we saw some amazing fighters and some amazing fights.
Yes.
And I
the thing about the WKC, man, yeah.
Oh no, I was going to directly credit you for that. Go ahead, Johnny.
Yeah, I developed a lot of relationships over the years of competing. So, I would just talk to these guys, and, a lot of times I'm doing seminars for them, we'll sit and talk, and they'll ask me about my opinion about the WKC. Mm-hmm. And, the thing about the WKC is that I retired. People forget that I stopped fighting for 5 years. I didn't fight at all. And it was Richard Plowden who was honestly was calling me almost every day for a long time. Come on, man, you need to fight again. And I was doing my jiu-jitsu thing full time. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that no more. That's what I used to do. I'm doing them. And he just kept calling. And between him and Ross kind of getting on me a little bit, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to come back out. And it was for the WKC. It was the fight for him for the WKC. And that's what started this whole thing for me of coming back out all over again. So anything that I could do to give back to those guys, man, I do my best to try to do that.
That is, it's been an exciting tournament. That's coming up. It's our next event on the SMA calendar. But the Johnny Tention Tour never stops. Tell us where you're going to be next. And also, you got a little something going on in December, I think. Where are you going to be at next?
Yeah.
What you got going on?
My next seminar is in Orlando this Friday at the Mayan Challenge for Jorge Perez. So I'll be in Florida this week coming up. And then after that, I'll be in Ireland, like you said, on Halloween Day. And then the next thing that we got up is the winter camp, the TCK winter camp, which is December 26th to the 28th. It's 6 hours of training from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I always try to bring a variety of different instructors to mix it up. So this year, we got, the Professor Richard Plowden. We have another genius, Mike Pombero. We have Brian Plimple. We have Gina Thornton. We have Willie Hicks. And I'm excited about everybody, but I'm super excited about Master Joe Pina. That man created more champions in this sport than anybody.
That is true.
Pedro Xavier is a student. Alberto Montron, Reggie Curry, Didi Baptista, Jason Facey, Pedro, and the list goes on. George Pina. It was a bunch of guys. Ronald Donald, those guys, all Mafia Holland, all was influenced by this guy. So I'm super excited to be bringing him out to the winter camp. So the winter camp is, again, December 26th to 28th. It's from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and it's in New York City. And anybody wanting to attend the winter camp, the number is 718-542-8622. And I'm on Facebook, and you can always inbox me. Every day I already got people from Europe coming down, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing every single year.
There it is. You heard it first. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Tention, thank you for taking part of having this
thank you, man.
On Sunday night. I will see you in Ireland. Can't wait.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we will see you soon, sir.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
All right, take care.
That's just the truth right there, baby.
Just the man himself. What more could you ask for? That the guy's a living legend. And if you don't know him, if you've only seen Johnny or heard him during interviews, one of the most approachable people that you can come up to, introduce yourself, talk to him. I love to see him doing things like, I know that he was doing a seminar, I think it was in England a few years ago, and he found out about a student that wanted to take his seminar, and his parents told him he couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford it. So this young man went on and did extra work, did as much, as he could to pay for the seminar himself. Well, Johnny found out about that and gave him a free hour himself. He said, if this guy's dedicating himself to do the work, I'm going to give him extra. I mean, he's just that type of guy.
Yeah, and let's just put the asterisk on this, that unless you're fighting in his division, he's very approachable. But if you are fighting in his division, you might not want to approach the man.
Very, very important point. Jamie, I'm going to let you read off a little bit of our upcoming. By the way, let me go ahead and get this plug in as well. If you've not followed our affiliates out there, Point Fighter Radio and also the Martial Arts Internet Network, I know there is an amazing interview of Jody on there from last year. Please check out these fine media outlets. These guys do great work. Alex is on almost every Sunday with some great stuff. I know he's got some stuff coming on with some free agent talk that's coming on soon. Very important stuff. Always follow Point Fighter Radio and also check out the Martial Arts Internet Network. Jamie, while I get prepped to dial in our next guest, I'm going to have you take a look at upcoming SMA that we've got going on.
You got it, buddy. So we just wrapped up Diamond Nationals, right? So hopefully everybody saw the live streams. If you wanted to check out the event, they're still on Facebook if you want to see it, of course. And as we're just talking to Mr. Jody Tention, October 30th through November 4th, the WKC World Championships in Ireland. Hopefully you have your tickets already for that one. Our next full coverage event is November 11th, 12th, the Pan American Internationals in Miami Beach. That's always a great time, especially if you're up north or, out in the Northeast. You go someplace warm around November. It's fantastic. And then on November 20th, we got the KTOC Karate Tournament of Champions in Queens, New York. And then we're pretty much off the board through the rest of December. And then we come back to start 2017 off with the AKA Warrior Cup in Chicago, of course, January 20th through the 21st. And that will be another full coverage event where we got the live streaming of the nighttime show. Sometimes we got the underbelt show, and sometimes just some random fighting divisions that we have to happen to get a good seat at.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to SMA for all of your tournament coverage. All right, let me see if I can get our next caller on the line. Let's see. Hopefully our Skype connection is working.
Hello.
Hello, yes, may I speak to Mr. Thompson, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. How you doing, sir?
Oh,
let me see here. We got a little audio problems. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Stephen?
Oh yeah, can you hear me now?
I got you, Jamie. You got him?
I am a little quiet, but I can hear you for sure.
All right, I'm gonna adjust a little bit of the audio level. 1 second here. All right, we're gonna try again. Stephen, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me now?
I think we got it clear. Welcome, everybody. We have Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and if you haven't watched any MMA, you really need to. I mean, absolutely, we have the number 2 UFC ranked welterweight right now on the line. Stephen, how are you doing today?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Just relaxing and getting ready for a busy day tomorrow.
How is training camp coming?
Man, it's coming great. I started my camp off up in New York with Chris Weidman. I came back home to South Carolina for a few weeks, and I'll be here this coming week, and I'll head back up again to train up there in New York again with Ray Longo and Matt Serra and Chris Weidman, and then I come back home for a week, and then I'm back up to New York. So I'm flying back and forth, man. It's a blast.
I've seen that you are a good friends with Chris Weidman and also Aljamain Sterling. How is that New York crew up there?
Man, phenomenal. I always try and keep a small circle and positive people and good training partners, and you know what, those guys have definitely made me feel at home. And this is one of the reasons why I'm so happy to fight at Madison Square Garden, because I've been going up to New York training with Chris since his first fight with Anderson Silva, and they just kind of brought me in as one of their own, and it's special, man. And that's actually how we became brother-in-laws, me and Chris Weidman.
Oh, and I didn't know that. Can you give us a little background on that?
Yeah, well, I think it was the Lyoto Machida fight. I was up there for his training camp, and my brother Tony, youngest, he's 25, wanted to come up and hang out. So they're like, "Hey, Ken, man, come on." Well, I didn't even know Chris had a sister. Well, Tony came up. We ended up meeting his sister. They hit it off. Next thing you know, she's moving down to South Carolina, ended up getting married this past summer. I think it was right before the Rory McDonald fight. And now, man, we're family.
So you're really officially family now. That is absolutely an interesting story there. Let me ask you this: what was it like if? Now I don't have it playing right now because I don't think we actually have the rights to the video. But if you guys need to, just Google the UFC 205 opening. Is the UFC production team does such a great job on just anything that's just, premiere wise. What was it like shooting that? It's got some great shots of you coming up and walking on the streets of New York preparing for this event. What was it like to shoot that?
Man, it was amazing. Actually, spent a week in the city to do that. It was right before the press conference, so while we were there, do the UFC 205 promo video. It was really nuts. We're walking up and down, Times Square, and it's packed. And of course, you got this huge camera crew following you around, so everybody's looking at you. It was makes you feel kind of like a movie star, So it was really cool and special actually to go up there and do that, and it just kind of let you know how big this event is.
It's it's absolutely great. And the press conference, I've got to ask you about that. If you haven't seen the press conference, Conor was in his element, but did it make things really kind of easier because most of the questions were generated towards Conor McGregor, but you're there too. You're facing a very tough opponent, Tyron Woodley, who's just got dynamite in his hands. But this is a fight that you've pretty much demanded. You're saying, hey, I've done the work. I haven't lost. You've only lost one time in the UFC since you've gotten here. And there was a little bit of a talk, I know, from watching behind the scenes and watching some of the, reading some of the MMA blogs that Tyron wanted the money fight. He wanted the George St. Pierre, or he wanted Nick Diaz. Yeah. What did you feel about that? I know you kind of have to stand up and be loud in this era of MMA.
Yeah, man. I called him out on Fox Sports 1, and I guess you could call it a call out. I don't know. I did it in a very respectful way, but for him to actually sit there and look at me and say, "Nah, man, I want a money fight," when pretty much he was kind of in my situation right before he got that fight. He was ranked number 4 at the time. There's a lot of people thought that he didn't even deserve the shot. He waited for like over a year. But they gave it to him anyway. So he was pretty much sitting there in my shoes. But for him to do that was kind of, I was thinking, man, this is very hypocritical of him to do that. And, for a while there, I was fairly worried that it wasn't going to happen, that he could possibly get that George St. Pierre fight or that Nick Diaz fight. And it could possibly be, Damian Maia after the way he defeated, Carlos Condit. So, yes. You know what? I went out there and I try to do it the best way I can, but I think what really helped get this fight going was the fans. They were really upset that he'd said something like that. He would say that, and so they got on social media and really kind of put it out there to help me get this fight. So, man, hats off to all the fans out there.
I was watching the Fox Sports 1 show, and DC was kind of goading you on, like, hey, come on, man, get mean, going out there, and you did as politely as possible to call a person out. That's exactly what you did. You were very respectful. You were saying, like, come on, man, you waited a year and a half for your shot. You got it. You have the belt. It's my turn. But of course, you're dealing with a murderer's row in that welterweight division. As you mentioned, you got Damian Maia, who absolutely just took down and made Carlos Condit look average. You got Carlos Condit. You got Nick. You got Nick Diaz there lurking. You got a number of different other people. What does it feel like knowing that if you take the head of the king and you get the belt, there's somebody coming for your head next is going to be saying, hey, it's my turn.
Exactly, man. And that's the way it is in this game. The champion should take on all newcomers and, at least defend the title a few times before you start asking for a money fight. And I think a lot of people, are thinking the same thing. But, yeah, man, let's say I go out there, I defeat him. I know for a fact that, my next guy could possibly be Damian Maia or Carlos Condit, maybe even Robbie Lawler if he defeats, Donald Cerrone. It could even be Donald Cerrone. You never know, man. There's like you said, a murderer's row of just killers coming up, and any one of those guys could have your number. So, you know what, man? I'm focused, and I got a great team around me. I want to do this and try and hold that title belt if I do get it as long as I can, man. And I'm just blessed to be honest with you. I'm blessed to be where I'm at. So.
Now, I think a true fan fight, as you mentioned, is Donald Cerrone and you. That's a striker's paradise right there. But let me ask you, take us through what your thoughts are. You're getting taped up. You're going to fight Johnny Hendricks. And, of course, everybody's saying, oh, man, Wonderboy hasn't fought any powerful wrestlers. And you get one of the strongest, credentialed wrestlers in the UFC. You're getting taped up. What's going through your mind as they got the camera in your face, they got that light out there, your music hits, and you start that walk to the octagon? What is going through your mind at that point?
Man, you know what? To be honest with you, there's a lot of things a lot of fighters that go through, a lot of different things that go through their head. And you know what? I know for a fact that I'm prepared to step out there, did everything I can to prepare for this. And even at that point, you never know what's going to happen. They could hit you with that, just that, I'm going to close my eyes and swing and end up hitting you with something like that. It's always in the back of your head. And literally, right before I walk out, I'm thinking, why am I doing this right now? I'm literally hoping that an asteroid comes down and blows the place up or something, so I don't have to fight. But you know what? You're there. You're in the moment. As soon as that Wonderboy song goes on, and it's not a kind of song, it's not the type of song that actually fires you up, but it puts a smile on your face, and that's definitely my personality. So as I make that walk, I'm like, you know what? All these fans came here to watch me do this. My friends, my family. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it for them, and I'm going to sacrifice myself to go out there and whatever it takes to win this fight, I'm going to do it. And as soon as that bell goes off, man, there's no more thinking. You're not thinking when you're out there. It's all reaction. And, at the end of the fight, man, it's like, wow, did I just do that? And that's why I believe that's why I do what I do. I do it for the honor and for the glory. And, man, I couldn't see myself doing anything else, to be honest with you.
Hey, Steve, this is Jamie here. So, speaking of karate guys, Venom Page had the amazing Pokemon finishing move. And when you're preparing for a fight, do you prepare a finishing move or anything like that for your fights?
You know what? What kind of moves you say? I
gotta do the Pokemon ball into the ring after I knock the guy out and put on my pose and all that kind of stuff.
You know what? I've been doing a flip. And I used to trick back in the day. It was called tricking, martial arts tricks. Mm-hmm. And you got guys out there doing corkscrews, as you saw on my first fight when I knocked that guy out. So normally, if I knock somebody out, I'll do a flip. And if it goes the distance, and I won't do anything. But if it's a crazy knockout, yeah, man, I'll do some kind of ninja move that you saw in the first fight. My last fight or my fight with Johnny Hendricks, I did a back flip. Yeah, man, I just kind of do what I feel is necessary, what I feel in that moment.
You say it's all reaction, so when you're actually training for an opponent like this, you say, you know what, I think I got a couple tricks in the bag here that he's not used to seeing. Do you see anything with this upcoming fight that you might be throwing out, some sort of spin hook kick or, just a tornado kick or something crazy like that?
Well, it could possibly be anything. I mean, just my style alone, there's a lot of things that I do that most people don't do, and it's a very tricky and very, very frustrating style to be across from. So to try and figure out, too. So it makes my opponent fairly frustrated. And I know Tyron's a very intelligent guy. He's a smart guy, so I know he's going to come out there very calm. But that's my game plan. I try and go out there and try and lure you into things you normally wouldn't do. And that's when those tricky things catch you, like what I hit Jake Ellenberger with, the spin hook kicks, and they come out of nowhere. And if you don't have anybody in the gym constantly throwing that stuff at you, you're not going to be ready for it. And those are the ones that catch you, the ones you don't see. So just my style alone is very tricky. And yeah, man, you never know. You might see another spin hook kick or some kind of tornado kick, as you said, out there. So yeah, man, we'll see.
Stephen, I was browsing your Instagram page, and I saw that you were at the Marvel headquarters in New York when you did some time up there. What was that like to be actually in a place where so much creativity? You've also been a big fan of Daredevil on Netflix. What was it like to be in the Marvel Comics studio headquarters?
Man, I was completely geeking out, man, for real. I'm a huge Marvel fan, comics, DC. I don't care, man. It was really awesome to be there. And I didn't even know we were going. You know, we were in the city right after the press conference. It was the day that I was getting ready to fly back, and they kind of just surprised me with the UFC did. Me and Chris. So yeah, man, we got to go in there. They had like different conference rooms, but they had like the Thor conference room. They had the Iron Man conference room. They had the legit Ant-Man suit that the actor wore in the movie there. They had a crazy Marvel library, you know, from all the way up to their very first Marvel comics. So man, I was definitely geeking out, and it was definitely a really cool experience.
I'm going to put you on the spot real quick. You got to give me your favorite Marvel movie that has come out so far. You got to only pick one. What's it going to be?
Oh man, favorite Marvel movie. I thought Ant-Man was really good just because it was very comical. Also had the action in it, and it pretty much followed the storyline a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of things that is right about the Marvel movies, but there's a lot of things that don't follow the actual stories, which I'm a little upset about because I'm really big into the original origins of the comics. But I love Ant-Man, the very first Avengers, which was really cool, and also, sorry, I'm not giving you one, I'm giving you like all of them. So, Guardians of the Galaxy, I thought was great too.
There you go. One of my favorites as well. I also saw that you spent a little time on the set of Arrow with Katie Cassidy. For those of you who do watch Arrow, she plays Black Canary, and she was actually hitting mitts with you.
Yeah, man. So I had the opportunity in Vancouver, which I didn't know was pretty much the Canadian California, LA, where all the movie stars and stuff. There's a ton of movies that they film down there, and Arrow's one of them. So I got to go and hang out with the cast of the Arrow. And work out with them. Their personal trainer was there, so we got to hang out, hit some mitts. We got to run around the city, which was really cool. It was beautiful. If you've never been to Vancouver, amazing. So yeah, man, the actors and actresses are so like down to earth, you wouldn't even believe it. So we just all hung out, and then I ended up hanging out with them the entire weekend. It was great.
It's good to hear a fellow comic book geek like myself, and I could take this show in a complete different direction and talk comics all day. Hopefully one day we'll meet and we can just sit and just vibe about comics. Well,
dude, sounds good to me.
I want to be respectful of your time because I know you're in camp. I'm wishing you the absolute best of luck for your camp. Once again, UFC 205 is going to be on Saturday, November 12th. Coming up, and it's at Madison Square Garden. On a closing question, give us your take at being part of the inaugural event in New York City. If you haven't been paying attention, New York City was the last state to legalize MMA so the UFC can be in there. And at the historic Madison Square Garden, where Ali fought a lot of great fights, events, everything has happened in Madison Square Garden, and now UFC 205. What is it like to be a part of that inaugural event?
Man, you know what? That was one of the reasons why I wanted to be on that card, just to talk, to hype up around it. They're saying that it's going to be the biggest card in UFC history, which, I could definitely see that. But that was only a very small part of me wanting to go fight at Madison Square Garden. I knew one of my best friends and family member, brother-in-law, Chris Weidman, was also going to be on the card. And the very first time actually fighting on the same card as him, a good close friend of mine, and he literally is the face of MMA in New York. He helped legalize it, and he was one of the main guys to go out there and really rally and get it started there in New York. So I wanted to be there for that, but man, it's a dream come true. Never thought I would be in this position, really. I mean, I went to my very first UFC event when I was 12 years old in Charlotte, North Carolina, where Kimo got his ponytail pulled out. He walked out with a big cross on his back.
Oh, yeah. That's
right. I was there, man, sitting in the stands, me and Pops, and I'm like, man, I'm going to be doing this one day. I want to do this one day. And, man, that lets you go right there. From all the injuries that I've had and the ups and downs that I've had in my fight career has led me up to this point right here, And like I told you before, man, I'm just blessed to be where I'm at. And this is definitely a dream come true. So I appreciate you guys having me on and hanging out with y'all today.
Well, Stephen, thank you again for just. I promised to hold you to 20 minutes. I've got you at 17:24. You're in camp. Get some rest. And when you do win that title, you told us the last time that you crave, when you're cutting weight, a dark malted beer. I will be more than happy to buy you one when you get that. And we can't wait to hear it. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, a karate practitioner. Sir, you have a good Sunday evening, and I'll be watching on November 12th.
Thanks a lot, my friend, and I'll hold you to it.
Thank you. Hey, that's a promise that will be fulfilled. Thanks very much, Stephen. Have a good evening.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There you go, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Man, I tell you, this is the great thing about this right now is the show's winding to a halt, and I wonder, should I go ahead and put the other shot on right now? There's an interesting second screen going on with Jamie right now, and most of you all are seeing upcoming SMA. And there he is. Look, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. There you go. Well, that's going to bring our show to a close. Boy, if you guys had that other monitor that I could see right there, you would have seen a really good show. All we got right now is Jamie and his first place trophy from the Diamond Nationals. Congratulations to him doing work out there in the 40-year division. Guys, we're going to try to get one show on next week because there's a good rivalry between the United States and Canada for the WKC. But be sure to check out SMA for the entire coverage of everything that's going on WKC. For my partner, Jamie Cravens, I'm Mallory Woods. Good night, guys, and we will see you soon.